I'm now back in my home in Metro Manila, and as I have alluded in my previous vlog, wherein I was showing you guys what I was doing when I was back home in the province, I said there that I was invited to a brand event, and that's actually happening today. So that's why I'm here. I'm back home, and it's actually a brand event from Kiko Milano, wherein they are launching their holidays Wonderlights collection. So I'm very excited about this, and I'll be bringing you guys along with me because it's so much fun to share all of these things with you guys, because it's just going to show you what the brand is up to. And truthfully, I was actually quite surprised to be invited to this brand event because I have not played with Kiko Milano products in a really long time. So this is just actually a great way to get to know the brand again. And the first time I actually encountered Kiko Milano products was when I went to Italy in 2009. Yeah, so I think I saw them in, where did I see them first? Was it Florence or Milan? I can't remember, but what I do remember is that their products are very affordable, and they were also actually quite good. And over the years, I kind of forgot about Kiko Milano because I couldn't get any of them here. But I have noticed that they have been here now in the Philippine market for 2 years, I think, and they are very aggressive with getting themselves out, letting everybody know that they're around. So I believe this is just a great way to get to know this brand once again. Okay, so I am now changing. I am doing my skincare, and I was actually heavily debating if I was going to remove my beard today, but I decided not to because on Saturday, which is 2 days from when I am doing this video, I actually I'm going to be in a meeting wherein I'm actually required to remove my beard. So if I do remove my beard now, I'm sure I'm going to get rashes by the time I'm going to remove it for that said meeting. But I think it's also perfect for the look that I'm going for, because the top that I'm wearing is a little bit feminine. So keeping my beard on can just really contrast that just a little bit. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just doing the initial skincare products that I usually do in my skincare routine. So I started off with a salicylic acid toner, and then after that I am using this mandelic acid and monolaurin toner, which is what I'm applying now, and I think I'm quite happy with that. So let me just pack that in. Okay, next I have some vitamin C. Sorry if you're hearing a little bit of some grinding. My neighbor is still not finished with their upgrade with their house, and it's been almost a year now. Okay, so I'm just gonna rub everything in, make sure that my skin gets all of that essence. And I am not gonna be wearing any makeup today, and the main reason why is because I don't really wear makeup, and I just want my skin to really shine at the event. But I'm going to add some brow stuff because I just need to balance out my brows. Especially that I'm going to an event wherein I'm going to be photographed maybe with other people. And I'm very excited for this because I have not been invited to an event of this scale before. So that is very exciting. And that's also the reason why I wanted to vlog about this, so that you guys can see what I see. And if there are any products as well, I'm sure I'm going to insert it into this video. Now the event is going to be held in the city next to me, so I have to drive there. So it's now around 3 in the afternoon, and the event is to start at around 5. So I'm hoping to leave here by 4, so that I'm there by 4:30, 4:45, traffic permitting. And that's just going to allow me some time to find parking, also not to feel rushed, because I don't really like to feel rushed, and I also don't like it when I am late. So I'm also putting a little bit of this gel all over my head, because I have also just shaved off my hair from my head today, and this just helps to give some antibacterial protection into my head, and also it helps to mattify it a little bit, because one of the problems that we bald guys have is that sometimes our scalp gets very, very oily and it gets very, very shiny, like the moon is shining on top of our heads. So I really don't like that. Okay, so I'm just going to let all of that skincare sink in, and I'm going to do my brows now. So I'm going to keep quiet. I'm going to zoom through this because this needs some concentration. Okay. Okay, so now that I have applied some of the brow pen into my brows, I am gonna be applying some got2b glue on my brows now, so it's gonna stay in place, and that's just going to help with the shape of my brows as well. Okay, and then I'm just gonna roll the back of the handle of this brush now so that my hair will stay in place. Perfect. Then the other side now. Okay, and now just for some finishing touches. Okay, and the final step, sunscreen, as always, even if it's late in the day. And I love using this because it just makes my skin really, really glow. And of course, it keeps all the moisture in place. And most importantly, here in the under eye area and behind the ears. Okay, perfect. And then last, some lip balm. Okay, so I'm just going to wash my hands now, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to be wearing today. So the event has a theme, so it's cocktail chic, but I do have to say that it's been a while since I've been to events like this, so I'm a little bit rusty, but the advice that they gave was you could wear some red, black, and some gold, and I think the ladies are advised to have some, glitters and sequins on them, which is understandable because after all, it's holiday. But for me, I'm just going to be wearing some black and red for today, and this is what I came up with. So let me just put this down. Okay, so this is the pant that I'll be wearing. I've actually had this for a long time now, more than a decade, but I do have to say that this is the first time that this actually fit perfectly without a belt. I actually love it. And you actually can't see it, but there are pinstripes here with a very faint red on it, so it's going to go well with the top that I am going to be wearing. So this is not the top. I'm just going to remove this, and then I'm going to wear the top so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. My shoes, this is from Aldo. I've had this also for over a decade, but I've already had them fixed, and I'm so glad that they've still managed to survive after all this time. Okay, so I love the fit of this pants, especially here in the back area, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm just going to wear my top, and then I'm going to come back. Okay, you guys, so this is the blouse that I chose, and it has a little bit of a Italian flair to it because after all, Kiko Milano is an Italian brand, and I love the sash here on the side. It reminds me of the time I went to Venice, and I saw a lot of young boys there with sashes on their waist, so it's just a nice nod to that. And I also love the fact that the ribbon here, I hope you guys can see it, can actually cover my belt loop, so I don't need to wear a belt at all. So this is it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go head to the event, and I will start vlogging when I get there. Hi everyone, so it's the day after the Kiko Milano Holiday Wonderlights collection launch, and I do have to say that I had an amazing time. Super amazing time. Not only did I get to meet a lot of new people, but I got to see a lot of my colleagues in the industry, and it was a very nice get together. Like it was an amazing party, like, one of the best parties that I've ever been to. Now, if you've seen my video, you would have seen that the space where we were at was actually beautiful. There were lights on the ceiling. The table where we were at, it was mirrorized, so the lights on the ceiling were reflecting off of the table. It was so good. There were like roses on the table, floating candles on vases. So it was a very nice setup, and it was very intimate. So I really got to talk to a lot of people, which was actually great. Now, just a slight recap, I did not have any mishaps with my outfit, but I was actually initially worried because after I stopped vlogging, when I was on my way to the car, I noticed that the cloth was actually very, very hot. And I was also worried that it's gonna cling to sweat. So I was actually very relieved that when I got to the event location, it was actually quite cold. So, like, I tend to sweat a lot, and I was so happy that that did not happen because I didn't want to have any sweat marks on my outfit last night, but it didn't happen. So I was very, very happy with that. So, also one other thing, I received a goodie bag from Kiko Milano when I actually left the event, and that's what we will be checking out. And that's also what we're going to do just to close out this vlog, okay? So I have here some foundation. I have here a lipstick duo. So one side is a cream lipstick and the other side is actually a gloss. Perfect on the go product. And we also have one blush here. It is this blush and it actually looks very, very pretty. Look at that. I'm excited to try this with you guys today. And also one thing, by the way, in the setup on the table, there were products from the Holiday Wonderlights collection available for us to actually play around with. I initially thought that we couldn't touch it, but I was so glad that we were actually given the go signal to play with the lipsticks, to play with the foundation. And there was also one serum type that was like a tri-phase type of a technology wherein it had oil, it had water, and it had some pearl in it, and it really did give a very nice amazing glow into the skin. And you can also use it on your body. So I didn't have that unfortunately here on my goodie bag, but I really like that. It was very lightweight, and the way that it was just like, very smoothing on the skin, it didn't feel heavy at all, but like, it had a very nice glow to the skin, which is actually like, perfect with a concept for the Wonderlights collection of Kiko Milano. Okay, so the foundations for the Kiko Milano Wonderlights collection comes in a glass bottle with this glittery cap on it, which is actually cute. I have two foundations here, so I think the team was just trying to give me the foundation that would best match me. And let's see which one, or if they will kind of match me, because if you've been following me here on my channel, you guys would have known that I actually have some olive undertones in my skin, and it's actually quite hard to find a perfect match for my skin. Okay, so the first foundation that I have here is number 5, and this is natural beige. So let me just squirt a little bit of this at the back of my hand here. Oh, there you go. So it's a very nice beigey color. Maybe this might work for me because it's a little bit neutral. And ooh, so I'm just spreading the product. It might be a little bit too light, but anyway, so it has a very nice creamy formula to it, almost moussey to a certain degree. And my gosh, the coverage that you would get with this foundation, and look at the luminosity that you're getting out of that. It's actually very nice. It's a little bit scented. I think it has a hint of vanilla on it, but it's not overpowering though, so which is kind of nice. And then the other foundation that I have is number 3, and this is honey. So it's still quite light, I believe. Let me blend this out. Okay, so that's honey. So this one looks to be quite warm, and I think that might also work for me if I mix this with another color or something. Okay, so let's play with this right now. And by the way, when you actually purchase this foundation from Kiko Milano, you actually get a foundation brush for free. So it's dual-ended. It's automatic that you get the foundation and the brush. Okay, so I think I'm going to use the color Natural Beige, and I'm just going to lightly apply this all over my skin. Ah, that's actually quite a surprise. I was not expecting to get a match. And by the way, they say that this is their foundation and concealer in one. Yeah, so that's why you actually have amazing coverage with this foundation. Look at that. My redness has toned down. Actually quite nice. And then if you just really spread it out, I think you can thin it out and you don't get a very thick amount of coverage. And now I'm going to use the thick side of the foundation brush, and I'm just going to pat the foundation into my skin, blend everything. That actually is not a bad match. What do you guys think? Do you guys approve? I think I approve. Okay, and I am seeing that the foundation is not sinking into my pores. I'm not using a primer, by the way. I'm just using some sunscreen today and my skincare. And it's actually sitting well on top of my skin. Very nice and bright. But it's not looking ashy. It's not looking grayish, which is actually good in my book. Okay, so let me get some more. So I think you just have to use very little of this product, and if you actually use the brush that comes with the foundation, it tends to pick up a ton. So just work with very thin layers, and then I'm actually finding it quite amazing that the brush head here actually buffs out the product quite nicely. Look at that. That's actually beautiful. Wow, what a surprise. Okay. Look at that luminosity coming through. Okay, this is a very good foundation. One of the best foundations that I've tried so far. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, I am so far loving this foundation. Look at that, you guys. Look at that. And it also gives you ample playtime. It doesn't dry down fast. And by the way, I am shooting under natural light today, so this is how the foundation would look like when you would see me on the street. Okay, and I can also see that the foundation is quite buildable, but just work in very thin layers until you get the coverage that you need. Okay, so let me try the lightest shade now that I have with me. So this is the color Honey. Let me get the box. Yeah, this is the color Honey. And let me use this in a concealer type of a way, wherein I'm applying it here in the inner corner of my eyes and spreading it outward. Okay, very nice brightening effect, nice coverage, as I've been saying. Okay, quite beautiful. Ah, so pretty. I love this foundation. But look at that. Nice match to my skin, nice glow. I love it. Very skin-like, but it does really cover amazingly well. And look at the soft glow it's giving. Look at that. Looks like I'm filtered. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, so let me set now my face with some loose setting powder, okay? Okay, so I have some loose translucent setting powder here on the cap, and I am also noticing that there is no oxidation going on, which is fantastic. So at least it's staying skin color true. Again, guys, if you're hearing any sawing, I do apologize. I could not avoid it. The renovations is still going on, and I didn't want to wait so long to actually finish out our vlog for us if I do this over the weekend. Okay, and the powder is sitting very well on top of the foundation as well. It's not clinging, but then again, I'm using the brush in a patting motion. I'm not using it in a buffing motion. And I'm gonna add a little bit of that here on my nose as well, and here around my brows, because this is where I'm usually, oily and shiny. And I'm just going to buff it out. Fantastic. And now with a bigger brush, I'm just gonna buff the powder also lightly, just to set the rest of my face. Okay, so this is the Kiko Milano Holiday Wonderlights Silky Glow Foundation and Concealer in one. What do you guys think? Look at that! Okay, and now let's try the Radiant Flush Blush. Nice packaging. It's in gold, very festive. This has 8 grams of product, and this is made in Italy, in Bergamo. And I believe that also goes the same for the foundation. So, of course, because the name is Kiko Milano, we expect they're all made in Italy. Okay, so look at the embossing on the blush here. It's very beautiful, very festive. And you have like, 2 tones here. You have a very nice, like, pinky shade here, which is like, blue tone leaning, which I actually already like because blue tones will work with me. And we have a very nice, it's not silver, but it's actually like, quite golden in tone. And I believe that will actually also work as a very nice highlight. And it actually has a scent. It has a very nice, like, citrusy floral scent. This scent reminds me of my childhood, like, one of those erasers that I used to purchase when I was in grade school. Actually smells so good. Wow. Memories just like, really started coming into my brain. Okay, so let's try this now. And I'm going to be using this Sonia G brush from her Kakishibu series. And I'm just like swirling the entire brush here. And I can see that the pinky tone has spread into the gold tone here, so I don't know if this will affect the overall color, but let's just try it anyway. So I'm applying, look at the glow that this blush is giving the skin. If you are someone who has very dry skin, this would be perfect for you. But if you're someone like me who has oily skin, approach with caution. But look at how nice and radiant it's looking. Let me just remove any excess here on a microfiber towel, and let me just continue to buff that out to blend it. There's a very nice sheen to it, almost like, holographic. So it's a perfect, blush for the holiday season. And I think this can also be perfect as a, like, topper blush if you have, like, matte blushes in your collection. Or if you're someone who just likes to use contouring, and then if you just like to add a hint of color on top of your contouring and to blend it together, I think this blush product will work. And mind you, I think we can also use this as an eyeshadow color. Look at that, very nice. It's actually not scary to use because it blends out quite nicely. But then always with makeup, use everything with light layers. Always start light and then build to the intensity that you can actually deal with. Okay, so let's add blush now on this side of my face. Let me just pick up a little bit of the product. Yep, a little goes a long way. I think you guys saw how gentle I swirled the brush head on the pan. I don't know if this is a baked formula or if this is pressed, because in my head it appeared baked, but I think this is pressed. So you can actually use a much more softer brush head so that you don't pick up this kind of, like, an intense color. Use a much more fluffier and airier brush if you do not want to have like a very nice full-on blush application on your cheeks. Okay, and with the brush that I use for my powder, I'm just gonna pick up a little bit and I'm gonna apply that on top of the blush. I'm gonna blend it all together just so that I have a very nice, soft kind of a blush look going on. But I do love the tone of it. Again, you have this very nice blue tone pink that just really goes well with my skin. Now, before we talk about the lipstick, let's talk about the Festive Flash eyeshadow palette. So this was actually on our table and we were actually allowed to test it out and to play it out. And at the end of the event, you can't use this anyways. So they were actually encouraging us to pick out what they wanted to take home, and I got the eyeshadow palette. And I was kind of lucky that there were only 2 colors that somebody played with, but the rest was actually left
unused. But when I got home last night, I actually, sprayed it with some 99% alcohol because I really want to try this on screen with you guys so that you guys can see how the holiday eyeshadow palette from the Wonderlights collection actually looks like. So this is how the eyeshadow colors look like swatched on my arm. There are 12 colors in total. There are 7 matte eyeshadows, which are all neutral with 2 vibrant colors, and 5 shimmery eyeshadows. So as you guys can see with the swatch here, they're quite vibrant and you can actually become very playful with this. It's actually a very robust eyeshadow palette for the holiday season.
Now, basing off of the swatches of this eyeshadow palette, I have noticed that some of the colors are a little bit chalky, and this to me just signals that it doesn't have a lot of binders, so you have to approach this with caution so that you don't get fallout. And I do suggest that you actually use natural bristle fibers, like let's say skrill brush heads mixed with psycho hair, and try not to use synthetic brush heads, because synthetic brush heads are just way too strong for this eyeshadow palette. But maybe you can use synthetic eyeshadow brushes for the shimmery shadows here, because they're actually quite creamy.
Okay, so pardon the change in the audio, guys, because my microphone suddenly gave out. But let me start again. As you guys can see, I already have one color here on my eye, and I would like to show you guys how I apply this again. So I'm going to be using this nice, purpley lilac-y shade. And if you take a look at the pan here, when I land the brush on it, there's actually a lot of product disturbance. So this just comes to tell you guys on how pigmented these eyeshadow colors are, because it doesn't have a lot of binders. So when you are using these colors, just approach it with caution, and then you have to be very sure on how much pigment you pick up from the pan, just so that when you apply it on your eyes, you don't get a ton of pigment and fallout. Okay, and mind you, I'm not using any eyeshadow base for our eyeshadow application today. Okay, look how easy it is to actually apply the eyeshadow color. Look how easy it is to blend out and spread out. It's actually quite nice. Look at that nice one and done eyeshadow look. So on me, the lilac-y shade registers to be a little gray, so this can be a perfect eyeshadow base to actually create a very nice smoky eye look. Okay, now I'm just being playful. I'm gonna get the teal color here. Wow, look at that. There's so much product disturbance on the pan. So again, approach this with caution. And you don't really need to use a lot of pressure to actually pick up product from the pan and even to apply it on your eyes. Wow, that's a very nice shade. Very vibrant color. And applying it as close to my lash line as possible, and adding more intensity in the outer V area, and blending it into the crease and socket line. And let me buff out the excessive color. And let me try to wing that out. An 80s vibes going on here with this eyeshadow combination, I have to say. Very nice pigmentation though, I love it. Okay, next I'm gonna pick up this very nice deep brown shade here. I'm using the angled brush here, and I'm gonna use this on the lash line just to apply some intensity. Now, unfortunately, I am seeing a lot of fallout happening on the top of my cheeks, so let me just brush that out. Okay, so I'm noticing that the eyeshadow products are actually very, very soft. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spritz a little bit of this setting mist from Lisa Aldridge on the tip of the bristles here. And that for sure will actually really help me in picking up, a more intense color. And for sure that will also help me to apply the pigment without fear of getting fallout onto my upper cheeks. Okay, and now I'm gonna use this nice peachy shimmery shade. I'm gonna use this flat brush now, and I'm gonna lightly tap it into my mobile lid, because this will just really add some drama there and also capture the light. I'm actually quite surprised on how creamy this shimmery eyeshadow feels. And it looks quite lovely on the eyes as well. Very pretty. I like that. Very playful. Let me go get some mascara. Hang on. Okay, so I have my Lisa Eldridge mascara now. Kitten Lash mascara. And let me just apply that all over my upper lashes. It's actually quite nice. And I'm feeling kind of playful today, so I'm picking up more of the teal color here. And I'm sorry if I'm using this color for this eye, like, overly. And the main reason why is because it's very rare that I get to play with the color teal. And what I love about the color teal is that it really makes brown eyes really pop. Okay, look at that. I love it. So let me just remove any excess fallout now. So the great thing though, if you have fallout and you have these types of eyeshadow products, it doesn't really cling to the skin, but it just sits on top. So you just really need a very nice airy fluffy brush for it, and it just fluffs out very easily, and it doesn't even cause any streaking at all whatsoever. Okay, so let me apply a little bit of the mascara here on my lower lashes now. I love it. I love how playful it looks. Also very gentle color, not overly so, very pastel-y to a certain degree. So if you're someone who likes very light eyeshadows this way, this might be a good eyeshadow palette for you to try. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some of the shimmery shades and the darker shades now, because we're just playing around. And I'm gonna be using this for the Bobo brush here. And I'm actually gonna start by picking up this very nice, I think this is like a gunmetal gray or something. It's a very cool toned, shimmery color. Yeah, so it's like a very nice gray tone to it. And it's also blending very nicely with the violet-based eyeshadow color that I applied earlier. Again, the formula is actually applying extremely well. It's actually not very difficult to apply. And again, it's very easy to blend. But when you're using formulas like this, just make sure that you're not using windshield wiper motions, because that will disturb the shimmer that's already on top of your eyelid, and that's gonna cause a lot of fallout. Okay, and with this reference number 3 brush, I'm gonna get a little bit of the shimmer shade now, and I'm gonna use that in my lower lash line. And now with the reference number 23 brush, I'm gonna get this light shimmer now, and I'm gonna use that in the inner corner of my eyes. And look at how amazing that pigment is. That for sure will just add some drama into the inner corner. And maybe let's add a little bit of that here. Again, I'm sorry if you guys can hear some sewing. It's beyond my control. Alright, and now I would like to try this very nice warm toned brown here. And I'm using this blending brush. Ooh, picks up a good amount of product. And I'm gonna use this here on the socket line area. It's blending out quite nicely. Love the shade. And again, it's very easy to blend out. Again, I'm just using very light strokes, just to make sure that I am not disturbing any of the shimmer from the eyeshadow that I applied earlier. And now I'm gonna pick up the darkest shade with the same brush, remove any excess at the back of my hand. Look at that. And then I'm just gonna pat that, and I'm gonna blend that just so that we have a nice gradation of color. And I'm going to buff everything lightly and slowly. Fantastic. And maybe for some drama, I'm gonna get this very nice gold tone here, and then I'm just gonna apply it here in the middle of the eyelid just to add some warmth, because that will really help to give light into my eyes. And finally, with the same brush that I used earlier, I'm just gonna spritz it again with some setting mist from Lisa Eldridge, and then I'm gonna pick up the darkest brown shade again, and I'm gonna use it as an eyeliner, and I'm just patting the color into my lash line. I love it. And I would like to apply a little bit of the color here. That would just really help to open up that eye area. Now let's add some mascara again. So I believe that the eyeshadows that we have in this palette, the Festive Flash eyeshadow palette, from the holiday collection of Kiko Milano. It doesn't really give a very intense pop of color, but it's actually a very nice buildable color, but you always get this soft kind of intensity on the eyes. It's nothing dramatic, but just enough to give some definition to the eyes, but it doesn't really go overboard. So if you're someone who doesn't like to have very intense eyeshadow looks, this would be perfect for you. And I do have to say, some of the colors here are actually perfect to use as a blending color, as a base color to any other makeup eyeshadow products that you have. And if you want to intensify your eye look, you can always use some eyeliner pencils. You can intensify your waterline, or even you can add more color into your upper lash line. So it's actually quite a usable and workable palette. So that's actually quite good. Okay. And the final product that we'll be talking about is the Festive Duo Lipstick and Gloss. So as I've shown you guys earlier, one side is a lipstick and the other side is a gloss. Now the lipstick shade here looks to be quite mauvey. So anyway, the lipstick that I have, there was actually also a red, which is a very beautiful red. And this lipstick looks like this. It's a very nice blue tone pink, but it's a little bit deeper. And by the way, the bullet here has a very nice design, and it has some stars in it. It has some beads holding onto the stars. It's actually quite festive, and I actually like the design on the tip of the bullet here, because this can really help you to perfect your lipstick application. But I'm not gonna use this lipstick on myself straight from the bullet, because I would like to put this in my lipstick kit. So I have a little bit of the lipstick now here at the back of this palette knife, and with this Refer number 21 brush, I'm just really pressing the brush head into the product here, really soaking the brush, and I'm going to apply this all over my lip. Oh, that's a very nice color. There's a very nice berry tone to it, a very nice wine kind of a shade. It's very creamy. It's very easy to manipulate and maneuver on the lips. Nice coverage, nice opacity. I love the shade of this. The formulation is actually very comfortable on the lips, very creamy, and I feel it quite hydrating. I love it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add the gloss on top of this. Now, by the way, I forgot to say that this is actually the color number 5. So it says it's Merry Mauve. So I'm gonna again remove the gloss from the packaging, and I'm just putting a little bit of it here at the back of my hand, and with the same brush that I used for the lipstick, I'm going to apply it on top, and it gives the lipstick shade a nice new dimension. It also has a very nice brightening effect. I think it has a light scent to it. It's not minty, but again, you have that very nice pastry kind of a scent, which is actually quite lovely. Alright, so I believe we have come to the end of my vlog for today. I'm sorry for some technical issues, and I'm sorry for all the banging, but I still hope that you've enjoyed this. So far, this is how the Silty Glow foundation from Kiko Milano looks on me. I love it. No oxidation whatsoever. Nice radiant finish. Very beautiful coverage. I love it. The blush looks amazing, looks very dewy, and now it's melting into the foundation, and it's melting into my skin, and the natural oils of my skin is working very well with the blush. I love it. Now again, this is the Radiant Flush Blush in 02 Cherry Cupcake. Very nice color. I love it. And this is how the eyeshadow palette looks like on my eyes. Very nice and playful, not too intense, but it gives you the right amount of definition. Okay, again, this is the Festive Flash eyeshadow palette. Very nice. You can either go smoky or you can go light and playful. And finally, we have the lipstick duo. So this is the Festive Duo lipstick and lip gloss. Very nice color. I love it. So if you just want to have a creamy lipstick with nice opacity, use the bullet. And then if you want to add some dimension or some hydration, still feels comfortable on the lips, by the way, you can use the gloss at the end of it. Okay, all right, so that's it for me today. I hope that you guys enjoyed my vlog when I went to the Kiko Milano Philippines launch for their holiday Wonderlights collection, and I hope that you also enjoyed me showing you guys how I got to know a lot of these new Kiko Milano products that I have with me today. Alright, so that's it for me today. So if you guys have any more questions, please leave them down in the comments box and let's have a conversation about it, okay? So that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye!